Hey, thanks for joining us. It is Around the Maritimes, the official English language podcast of the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League, presented by Carlsberg. That's right, sponsor, Carlsberg. Thanks again. I'm allergic to alcohol, but if I wasn't, you might have a non-alcoholic thing. Anyways, this week on the program, Dave Kernu joins us to talk about all things happening, including the World U17 Challenge in Truro, and an interesting week 2 weeks here in the Maritimes. Is there not a lot of hockey being played at the home rinks, but the teams on the road around Quebec, and we'll talk about how this eastern side of the league is turning out a lot of talent and has a lot of skill on display. Specifically, 10 of the last 12 Team of the Week nominations and Team of the Week names have all come from the eastern side of the league. That's, hey, I'm just saying, we're keeping an eye on it. And then also, Bedford's own Cole Chandler, a member of the Shawinigan Cataractes and a draft pick of the Boston Bruins, joins us to have a conversation and a nice chat about making sure you keep the game fun and developing and getting through a little bit of sickness, some injury, finding your game again at the right time, and getting yourself called in the NHL draft to the Boston Bruins. Well, that is what's coming up this week on Around the Maritimes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, everywhere you are. Well, you're already here, so you might as well stay. It's the Around the Maritimes podcast, the official English language podcast of the QMJHL, presented by Carlsberg. Dave Kernu joining me on Around the Maritimes. Dave, there was not a lot of action in the rinks around the Maritimes over the last 2 weeks. I think only 5 games played in the Maritimes. Of course, Maritimes not including Newfoundland, which is Atlantic Canada, correct?
Correct. You
And
are correct.
we saw the Eagles went over to Newfoundland to take 2 from them. That's a talking point there. But the big story this week was the World U17 Challenge in Truro, and Canada Red winning over Canada White in the gold medal game, led by Alexi Joseph, and Alexi with 12 points on the week. And man, oh man, did he ever show why the last 2 years were talked about as the Alexi Joseph draft.
Yeah, and before we kind of get into Lexi Joseph, yeah, just the event itself, Mavs, right? Like such a great event, and it's funny to watch the progression Hockey Canada has gone through with this event. At one point, they used to send 5 teams: Atlantic, Quebec, Ontario, West, Pacific. Then they botched that, and they went down to 3 teams: red, white, and black. And now they're down to 2. And lo and behold, like you just said, red and white meet in the final. Great event, great final. Also want to take a minute to shout out the female Team Atlantic, who win the silver medal at the U18 Nationals. Big accomplishment for that group. And another thing that's always kind of been on my mind recently when this U17 event comes around, we don't have to talk about it right now, but maybe you can bring it up later on. I've always wondered, what would a Team Atlantic look like right now?
Right now, Dave, a Team Atlantic right now would be very intriguing just because of the progression of hockey in Atlantic
Sorry,
Canada over the last little while.
sorry. I should have clarified. If we were to make it best on best, so I'm talking like Crosby, McKinnon, Marchand.
Oh, outside of U17. Well, I think not to talk like a general manager here. I think Team Atlantic might have missed its window, but they would be extremely competitive right
Yeah,
now with some of the best hockey players on the
you
planet.
think?
Like on
Exactly.
the other side of things, I think we best on best a Team Atlantic. You have
Your top,
Crosby,
your
Marchand, and
top
McKinnon
six.
on the same line.
Yeah, your top 6 is Crosby, Marchand, McKinnon, probably Alex Newhook, Dawson Mercer, Drake Batherson,
But who we got next? Colton
Jacob,
Ellis.
and
Hmm?
Colton Ellis backing up.
All
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
um, That would be intriguing. Again, I would love to
right?
see Team Quebec as well, and
Well,
Team Ontario. The
yeah.
best on best.
Hey,
Hey, maybe it becomes part of the World Cup of hockey, because
there you go.
how can you call it a World Cup when you only have 8 teams and it's split up with North America? Anyway, that's a whole different kettle of fish there.
That's a whole different count. So the U17s this year, you're absolutely right. Alexi Joseph Shun as team captain for Team Red. He led the way. Like you say, he finished second in points in the tournament, one behind the leader, who I believe was an American. The name escapes me right now. And also, it's great to see, Quinn Norman go down there and get some reps with Team Red. Ben Vitch goes down there as well. He's getting some reps as well. Probably not off to the start that he would want with the regiment, but kind of similar with when the NHL guys send their juniors down to play World Juniors. They go down there. They're the better guys on the team. They're getting their reps. They're building their confidence, right? Vitch scores a couple of huge goals, one in I believe in the semis, one in the final. Provencher, again, has another great tournament. And then on Team White, Eagles fans, get excited. Sam Bertium, this guy's legit. This guy is legit.
Really big moment for Sam in his from Stellarton, playing in his home junior A rink, to have that opportunity with Hockey Canada, and actually had a chance to talk with Canada White's goaltending consultant Andrew Mercer, who is from Cape Breton, and he worked extensively with Sam, and was extremely impressed with the progress of Sam Berthium, and especially managing that in front of the home crowd and taking on some pro level shots. The game, the 8-7 game that Canada White won against Team USA was one of the wildest hockey games I've ever seen in my life. And again, for you very rarely would say a star of the game in an 8-7 contest would be the goaltender, but Sam definitely lived up to that, as he made highlight reel saves in a game where the offense was free flowing. It looked like an all-star game out there, but he robbed the Americans on a couple critical points of that venture. So yeah, Sam did quite well. And again, I will say it was cool to catch up with Andrew Mercer, who is a goaltending coach with the OHL Ottawa 67s from Sydney, and on a very, very far plane of existence. I was on a coaching staff with him, and we won a provincial title in minor junior back in 2000. Manager, no X's and O's, just a motivational and guy that the boys wanted to have hanging out with the team. But good, great event. The U17, really impressed with Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh, getting a chance to see those guys, and Carter Meyer as well for the Americans. That American team was really fast. The Czechs hit really hard, and yeah, it was fun. Shout out to Gareth McDonald as well, getting the chance to call the game on TSN. I know Gareth. I'm going to tell tales out of school. It felt like Gareth was quite nervous going into it, but he did very well. It was great to see a friend of mine get that spot.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, like you say, just around that American team, right? That's a team. And hey, I'm not saying this to disrespect the American teams in any way, shape, or form. They were a hell of a team, and they ran into a very hot Canadian squad. But that's a team coming into this event year over year. They are the odds-on favorite to, if not win it, to be in the final, because that is a team. They're together all year round, building up to this event. And the Canadian squad, as you know, Mavs, it's not to say it's a bunch of kids who were put together, but it's more or less a bunch of kids who were put together and really, really come together and really have to find chemistry in a 2-week time span, and have everything come together at just the right moment for them to hoist that trophy. And hey, for Hockey Canada, they hit it out of the park this year with an all Canadian final. So hats off to Canada Red, Canada White, and hats off to the talent that was at that event.
Also, hats off to Truro, putting on a tremendous event as well at the Eastlink Community Center. It was a very, very fun time, and I tell you, it was well attended. And hopefully, we've got even more events like that going in there. Truro's doing a great job. They've had the World Junior A Challenge the last couple of years. They've had it twice, having the U17s. Always a great event. And again, if you are watching this in the Quebec region, World Junior A Challenge is going to be taking place in Trois Rivières coming up. Great hockey. Make sure you get out and check it out. And speaking of Quebec, a lot of our teams were in Quebec the last 2 weeks, Dave. It was there was doldrums in the Maritime rinks, but you know what? Some big results, and I take a look at. I know Blainville's having some injury trouble right now, but a couple big wins. Moncton with a big win over Blainville. Halifax a big win over Blainville. You know, there. What's some of the storylines that kicked out for you in the last 2 weeks?
Well, it is those, like you say, Blainville looks. Granted, yeah, they are going through some injury trouble right now, but that is definitely a storyline. It seems like teams are having not so much having their way, but they're getting some very critical 2 points off a Blainville team. So they're kicking them when they're down, right? That was a big storyline. Another big storyline. Caleb Desnoyers is back. The Moncton Wildcats get their man back, and the Moncton Wildcats. They're kind of flying under the radar a little bit right now. Not a lot of people talking about the Moncton Wildcats. They're talking about Blainville. They're talking about Charlottetown. They're talking about Chicoutimi. Drummondville has entered the chat. But the Moncton Wildcats 7-3 in their last 10. Caleb Desnoyers back in the lineup. Big win against Blainville. Big win against Charlottetown within their last 10. Teddy Mutrin, Player of the Week. What did he have? 6 points in 3 games. So Moncton's starting to pick up steam, and this is the Moncton team we thought we would see at the beginning of the year.
And the thing I would say with Teddy Mutrin, with him picking up Player of the Week, is he's the first Player of the Week in the league to be a guy that was directly affected by that NCAA rule by having him allowed to have the eligibility to come and play in the queue. And there's so many of those guys with the Moncton Wildcats, and you start to sense that they're beginning to find their way in this league and finding a chance and finding the right way to play in this league. And it was interesting because, again, I'll go back to the U17s, having a chance to talk with a scout from Maine hockey, and he talked about how college hockey in the U.S. developmental program, they're used to playing maybe 35 games a year, where every drop of the puck matters, and it's like a tournament. And for guys that are now adjusting to a CHL schedule, where if you're going deep, you're looking at potentially playing upwards to 90 games a year. I think guys in that American mindset are starting to find their groove and find the way to play in this league and find the way to have success. And that's a big shout out to Teddy Mutrin again. And his dad, by the way, former quarterback with Boston College, had a cup of coffee in the New England Patriots training camp in 1999. Was competed against Drew Bledsoe. Went on to play quarterback for the Amsterdam Admirals of the World League of American Football, or NFL Europe. Not sure which one it was called right there, but anytime I get a chance to get some football in there, I will.
That's a very fun fact for sure. And another thing, Mavs, that stuck out, and it's a feel good story. Will Murphy makes his way back to the Cape Breton lineup. He took that nasty hit that we showed, or that we had on Eastlink Friday Night Hockey. This was going on almost a month, maybe 2 months. Had a chance to talk to some of the staff afterwards, and it was not a great outlook for Will. They knew that his road back would be long, but it is here. He made his return into the lineup when the team was in Newfoundland this weekend. So shout out Will Murphy. Great to see you back in the lineup. Couldn't come any sooner as even the Eagles. You talk about Blainville, the Eagles getting hit with the injury bug. Tommy Lavoie, Elliot Letallier. That's some big boys going down. But hey, the Eagles come away with 4 massive points at the Mary Brown Center.
Yeah, big points out of the Mary Brown Center against the Newfoundland Regiment. I take a look at the Mooseheads this week, or the last couple weeks, and Oleg Kuliavakin he has been as advertised, and this is a youngster that he is showing why he put up so many points with the Carolina Junior Hurricanes. And he was on Team of the Week back last week's Team of the Week, not this week's, but the talking Team of the Week. 11 of the 12 spots over the last 2 weeks have gone to kids from the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this on this podcast, and that Eastern Conference is an absolute gauntlet to get through. So whichever team comes out of the East, hopefully they've got enough gas left in the tank to go up against whomever comes out of the West. And hey, at one point it was all signed, sealed, delivered. It was Blainville's Western Conference, but hey. But yes, the Eastern Conference is an absolute gauntlet, and any team can beat any team any given night in this conference, and it just makes for some real must-see hockey.
Well, that brings me. We're talking about Drummondville. We're talking about Chicoutimi. Coming up this week, Drummondville is in the Maritimes, and they've got big games against Charlottetown and Moncton. Next week, Newfoundland takes on Chicoutimi, and Halifax takes on Chicoutimi. Those are measuring stick games for me right now to kind of have a chance to have Moncton and Charlottetown see how they match up against Drummondville and how Drummondville matches up against Moncton and Charlottetown because of how tough the East is. And also, it's a big opportunity for Newfoundland and Halifax to kind of prove their mettle against a Chicoutimi team that has been extremely good in the Eastern Conference. Out of those games, which ones do you look at as having the most importance?
Definitely right now, the Drummondville games. That team is just absolutely cooking right now, as the kids would say. They're cooking right now. Hey, they have entered the top 10 of the CHL. They snuck into the top 10 list. So, and hey, they're a team that's also beaten Blainville of late. They've beaten Chicoutimi. So they are starting to put their stamp on this season as well. The Chicoutimi Halifax matchup, I think, will be big, because right now, again, this Halifax team, they've had some big wins themselves in their last stretch of games. So, see them, their top six is extremely solid, my opinion. Looks like Brisson is finding his groove between the pipes, so that's real good news for Mooseheads fans. Charlottetown looks like they're starting to kind of come back down to earth a little bit. They got off to that torrid start to start the season. They've again, what are they, 4-4, 0-2 in their last 10. So, they've got some guys who really, I think, need to kind of find that extra gear. Hey, and I would put Matt Butler in that group. Even though I'm not saying Matt Butler's playing bad hockey, but I'm saying if this Charlottetown teams want to rekindle kind of the spark that they had to start this season, Matty Butler can go a long way to helping that team achieve that. So, and again, like we just talked about, Moncton, for me right now, Moncton is a team to watch. You said it. Couldn't agree more. With the plethora of Americans on their roster, they are starting to figure out the CHL. It is a different animal and a different beast than the NCAA. And obviously, when you've got arguably one of the better coaches in junior hockey behind your bench in Gardner McDougall, and you get arguably the best player in the QMJHL back in your lineup, this Moncton team is going to be something to watch. So their games coming up this week will be really good measuring sticks to see how that team measures up.
The other organization that's kind of jumping at me now, it's starting to figure out their way in the CHL, and I think are going to be a big draw and a tough challenge in the second half of the season is the St. John Sea Dogs. And we look at Alexi Joseph coming back to that lineup with that confidence of being one of the best, being the best player from that U17 tournament. And Raphael Crochet, they started the last 2 weeks with a clean sheet. They ended the last 2 weeks with a clean sheet. This is a team, again, that has so many kids in that prospect game. It is an opportunity for them. They're a young core they're brimming with talent, and I think you're going to see that potential moving forward in that second half.
Yeah, for sure, and I think you're right. Right, the confidence that Alexi Joseph is going to take away from his performance at the U17s is certainly going to translate into his time with the Sea Dogs. He's off to a great start with the Sea Dogs as it is, so this is only going to help him. But you're right, very young core, very young group. We knew that they were going to go through growing pains. They played a fantastic stretch of hockey to start the season. They've kind of hit a little bit of a bump in the road right now. 4-6 their last 10. But when I look down their lineup, they still, like you've talked about, like we've talked about, a very balanced attack coming out of St. John, and very young. And again, once these kids start to get used to the CHL game and play with that confidence, play with that structure that Travis Cricket will put in place, this Sea Dogs team is going to continue to make noise in the QMJHL.
My friend, we're going to make noise at Center 200 to get with Sherbrooke and Cape Breton coming up in not this Friday, but next. And then I believe I'm back there on the 5th, Val d'Or versus Cape Breton. So we're going to see the Eagles twice before the holiday break. But Dave, looking forward to seeing you back at the rink, my friend. Thanks for coming aboard. Enjoy the rest of the festivities. It's the wife's birthday. So you got dinner
It is.
plans, right?
I do. I do. Shout out the wife who for letting me do this.
Appreciate it. Thank you. As always, we'll see you in 2 weeks when we're back at the nest. All right, we're talking about Eastlink's perfect pair, the unlimited mobile and gig Wi-Fi for you at home and on the road, so you always stay connected with a proudly Atlantic Canadian company. It's Eastlink. You want to give us a call, 1-888-345-1111. Visit eastlink.ca or check in to one of our many stores. Again, unlimited mobile and a gig internet. You want to give us a call so that you get that and you're hooked up with Eastlink. Proudly Atlantic Canadian. Cole Chandler joining me at this time. To Bedford now in Shawinigan. And Cole, you've been playing well as of late. I think 6 points in your last 3 games. What's been working for you, Cole?
I think it just comes down to the team play. We got something rolling in Newfoundland there and kind of kept building off that. We had a tough start to the season with injuries. Obviously, we had a lot of core defensemen go down, and I think just with how the team's been playing, it improves on myself and gives everybody on the ice confidence.
Love to ask you about going over to play in Newfoundland. I'm guessing first time that you had a chance to play hockey over there. What was the experience like?
Yeah, no, it was unreal. Obviously, like as a Maritimes guy, you hear all the stories about Newfoundland and everything there, but like just playing there with the atmosphere and all the fans there are so passionate, and it was something special for sure. And all the boys love that.
And now I'm going to ask you because you're from Bedford. When does Shawinigan play Halifax?
We're there in January or February. Honestly, like the first 2 years, I had that scheduled on my calendar, but on like now I'm just kind of going through it, like just worrying about the next day and day by day. But
Now
like
it's become old hat for you, hey Cole?
yeah, no, exactly. Like my first year we played there November 11th, and my second year was like November 23rd. But I don't know, this year just kind of like just staying in the moment almost.
Okay. It is February 12th. You were very close with that. And again, we're just missing you by a day. The last time we had you on Eastlink was as a member of the Steel Subarus, but I'd love to go back a bit before that and talk about your time with the Bedford Blues. What's some of your favorite memories growing up and playing hockey in that organization?
Yeah, um, it's kind of tough. There's a lot of memories growing up in Bedford. Obviously, playing with all your best friends that you grew up with. I really, really enjoyed the Jordan Boyd tournament every year. That was really fun, myself and my family, and Sedma as well. That was a fun one. But yeah, just like those ones and the Pee Wee Quebec and Pee Wee AAA, like going up to Quebec and playing in against other competition and seeing, comparing your team against other teams, and that was really cool.
The Quebec Pee Wee tournament. What was the biggest eye-opening moment of that event for you?
Probably honestly just like playing against guys from Czech Republic and Poland and that stuff. Like that's your first international experience almost, really, right?
Yeah, and we're just coming off of the U17 team. I'm going to go back to the Subs in a second, but you participated in the World U17s last season, won gold. How did that event? Was it? Oh, it was 2 years ago. Beg your pardon. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, two
How,
years ago.
how did how did that event help you in your progression of your game?
Um, I think it's the experience. Like you can always say you won a gold medal with Team Canada, but it's also just like seeing yourself with all these other guys that are you see all over, right? Like I don't play with guys in the Western League, obviously, and guys in the OHL. So just seeing yourself compared to those guys and like seeing we're all the same guy, right? Like we all want the same thing. So obviously, just like the compete level, knowing yourself, like you got to have the best compete level out of all those guys because you want to get to the right spot. Like we're all trying to get to the same spot, right? So it's almost like who's working the hardest and stuff like that.
Everyone's working to get to that same spot, and I guess that's when did hockey road trips become business trips for you?
Uh, Honestly, it's always business, but there's always fun, right? Like even now, like you're still having fun with the guys. You're not just going there for business, right? You're going there for the experiences, and our coaches always say like you got to have fun too, right? Like we have a great coaching staff in our organization, and they want the best for us, and they understand the memories of the game. Obviously, like Pascal Dupuis, he played a long time, so he knows how it is and how it was in the NHL. So they're just trying to kind of let us live our moments, right? Because we're living our best life right now. Like we want to have fun, but obviously game time it's business. But at the hotel and stuff like that, you want to see your teammates, and I feel like that's where good teams become even better, just bonding.
I do I love that answer. To talk about that World U17 and you're all the same guy but bonding. What was critical, I guess, in getting that team being together and gelling so well for that tournament?
Yeah, obviously it's a short tournament. It's like 2 weeks, but right away, like first day you're there, we do team building. Our coach had us doing puzzles. We all had to fill out a puzzle. We split up into three groups. You couldn't leave the table unless you finished your puzzle, and they weren't easy either. And every day before we left our room, one guy had to go up, name off everybody's name, if you knew their nickname or something, right? Like those little things like are what paid off, and we obviously like we won the gold medal, so I think those like little details contributed into that.
So we've also, covered you with the Steel Subarus with Dartmouth U18. What are some of your memories from Dartmouth U18 hockey?
Um, I think it's just like the guys. Like we had a really young team, um, not a winning team. We got to the second round, game five or something, but I think it was just like that was my peak year of myself, like where I got to really show everybody like what I can do. But the guys that I had on my team, like playing one last year with those guys, I really took it for granted. Just all my best friends I grew up playing with and against, and a lot of those guys I'm still talking to on a daily basis. So I'd say just like the memories with the guys.
Yeah, you go from Dartmouth and your name's announced first round, 16th overall, to go to the Shawinigan Cataracts. What was the emotion like for you knowing that you were going to be heading a distance away from home?
Yeah, I've going into the draft, like you don't know where you're gonna go, but you look at the board and there wasn't a lot of Maritime teams picking in the first round in my year. So I figured I'd be in Quebec somewhere. But once I got picked, like to Shawinigan, and I talked to them the day before. I only really talked to a few of the Quebec teams, and Shawinigan was a spot where like I talked to them and I knew like, okay, these guys are invested, like they know what they're talking about. So obviously, when I got drafted there, I was in shock, like in the moment, because like I was what, I think I was 15 at the time or 16, and you're like, man, like I'm going away from home, like it's like, but no, like it was really exciting.
What was it that when you in that conversation with Shawinigan that made you say, okay, this is going to be this will be an all right spot to play hockey outside of the shock.
Yeah, like I think it was they just weren't asking like the basic questions, like they were talking about myself, they were making jokes, like it was a good conversation, and it was one of the few teams that I felt like nervous talking to. When I got in there, obviously I was a little bit stressed out. Every interview I had, I was stressed out, but as I was talking to the coaches and the GM, like I got like settled down a bit, and I found like with the other teams, I didn't really have that feeling. So like I felt comfortable right away.
Well, that's good to hear. So when you're feeling comfortable with Shawinigan and they pick you, how soon are you learning French?
My first year, I didn't know a lot,
Yeah.
but now like I can understand pretty much everything, but speaking like 50%.
What was the biggest culture shock for you going there outside of French?
Not much, honestly. Like I think it's pretty similar to home. Obviously Halifax, like it's a different town than Shawinigan, but they all have the same aspects, and like the French culture, like it's just completely different.
Anything that you really have enjoyed with French culture?
Mm, I like the language, like yes, I like the language, but it was tough for me when my first year. I didn't like it because I couldn't understand it, but like I like the language.
What about poutines? Have you picked up what's your favorite poutine on the road? Are you a poutine guy?
No, I'm not a poutine
Not
guy,
a
but like
poutine guy.
no, my first one was like last year I had one with the boys, and I didn't like it, and then I had one again this year, and it's starting to grow on me, but I never had a poutine until I came here.
Well, shameless plug. Next time you're back home, make sure you pop into Willie's down the road, down by Pizza Corner. I'm sure you're aware of that facility, and give them a shot. Again, the local one. Um,
Yeah.
your rookie season with Shawinigan. Again, it was a slow start, and you're dealing with injuries, you're dealing with sickness, and you're trying to find your confidence in that league. What were some of the things that I guess you were going through that year,
Last year or my first year?
or both years?
My first year, like it was it was tough because I started strong. Then I went away to the U17s and I won the gold medal there. So I was on such a high, and then I broke my wrist the second game back from the World Seven U17s. So I was out pretty much the whole year. I got back in the last 10 games of the season. I was playing with pretty much a cast on, and like it was tough for me. So that was my first year, and then last year, obviously it's your draft year in the NHL, and you have some eyes on you, and like it's hard to get out of your mind. But like my first half, like I still like I kind of like in the moment you hate it, but at the end, like when I look at it, like I'm like happy for it because you learn so much stuff going through like ups and downs of a season. Like I feel like I didn't have that in my 16-year-old year because I didn't play. But I feel like last year, like I learned so much and grew so much as a player that like now I know like how it feels to go 5 games, 10 games, 15 games without a point, or like just finding other ways to contribute. And I had a lot of one-on-one meetings with my head coach Dan, and I feel like that is the only reason like I stayed positive through the whole thing. Like, and then obviously like my second half is where like I exploded, and I'm a big believer in I don't think that can happen if I don't really go through what I did in the first half.
I love that you took adversity on head on, and you just keep rising to the moment. One of the big aspects of your game is your 200-foot game, and again, you do the little things really well, and you're not afraid of big moments. What pride do you take on the defensive end of the ice?
Yeah, I think my face-offs are a big thing. Obviously, they got to get better every day, but like my face-offs and just my like vision of the situation, right? Like my situational IQ, just reading like how much time we got left, like what to do with the puck, when to put it deep, when to attack, right? Like it all contributes defensively, and I'm working really right now is like stick on puck and finishing my checks above someone, not just hitting to hit, just like getting above them so you break their stride.
Uh, what's that been like?
A lot of meetings with my
Yeah.
coach. We talk about it a lot. It's really important to me and him because like I'm hitting now. Like my 16-year-old year, I never laid a contact, right?
Yeah.
Like I was some skill guy out of Bedford. Like we don't hit there, right? Like but obviously it's like such a big part of the game. Like you have to add little things to your game. So he's really like last year I added like hitting. Like I was hitting a lot, and then this year it's adding stick on puck. Just to knock the puck off the guys and hit them at the same time.
Cole, don't be giving away the stereotype of the mean streets of Bedford, man. It's a struggle with the mean streets. The playoffs last year, again, you come so close to getting to the league finals, but it was such a good run for Shawinigan. What do you take away from that?
Yeah, like a lot of experience. It's as a young guy, like 17 years old, to go on a playoff run like that. It's rare. We had three guys. One was injured, but Isaac Menard and Jordan Trigny, like they won the cup with Shawinigan in 2022. So like those guys kind of led the way, and we had LP Fontaine and Johan Loshing, another 20-year-old, like just showing the path. Like a lot of experienced guys, but to go through a playoff run like that, like unbelievable. I think of it like there's not a day like I go by like it's just double overtime, game 7. Like it sucks to go out like that, but when you think of it, like we're gonna have a good team this year, and a lot of guys from last year. So we have the experience from last year. So I think we all know what the goal is this year.
Again, it is rising to the moment all the time. For you, what did you learn about yourself personally in that run?
Um, I think it's just like consistency. Like I stayed consistent through the second half of the year, and going into playoffs, like I didn't expect anything different, and kind of shows myself like I'm a player that plays really good in the big moments and doesn't shy down. So obviously, on a personal note, I was really happy with my playoffs, but as a team, though, like it was a good run.
There's still work to be done out of that team and this year's team. What similarities do you see?
Um, just like the compete level that we had last year, I think it's just like the compete level, honestly, but
Mhm.
also just how close we are as a group. Like our group last year was incredibly close. Like we all bleached our hair in playoffs, and like you don't see that often, but like we all sacrificed something, right? We all sacrificed our hair and like our hair for the summer, so like we had to go far. But no, like just the compete level and the will to get better.
But I'd give anything to bleach my hair again. She's all gone. Anyways, that's um.
Yeah.
What's not gone is your aspirations for the National Hockey League because you fifth round Boston Bruins. They call the name Cole Chandler. Um, that it's what you work towards to get your name called in your draft year. Is there a relief when you hear your name called?
Yeah, obviously there's a relief, and for the first 2 days you're in shock. But for me, like I got drafted on Saturday like it was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning I was on a flight to Boston. So you don't have much like time to really let it sink in until you're in the facility and you're looking around all these guys. Like nobody cares if you're drafted or not. Like you're on the ice with all these guys, so like you don't really have much time. But once that's over, like you get back and you sit down, you're like that, yeah, like this is what I've been working for, right? Like it's obviously a big relief.
So where were you? You were at the draft for that, right?
No, I was
No.
in. I was. They held the draft a little bit differently this year. It was more online.
Hmm.
Not a lot of guys went. Like I think it was like a first, second round draft in person, and then the rest, like if you show up, you can show up and get a jersey. But the GMs and scouting staff, nobody was in LA for the draft.
So where were you when and how did you hear that you were picked by the Boston Bruins?
Uh, I was at home with my family. My mom wanted to host like a draft party, but I like it wasn't a sure thing I was gonna get picked, so I didn't want to have all these people and everything. So I was just at home on the couch with my family, and like third round, I went to go take a shower, just like if people come over at like if it happens, right? And I got a text from Boston, like one of the scouts in Quebec, and he just asked me like future wise, like about NCAA and what I think I'm gonna do, right? And then I said like I answered him back, and then he called me. He said, "Yeah, we're just talking about you for the draft." So like it didn't mean like, but it gave me the hope, right? Like it was fourth round, so I didn't know when I'd go, and then I get a call in the like early fifth round, and it was him, and he's like, "Hey man, like welcome to the team." And I was walking upstairs because I didn't know how long the call was be, and then I just started walking right back downstairs, right with my family, and no, that was like a memory I'm gonna remember for my whole life.
How important is it to have the phone line cleared for you that day? That there is no one calling the cell phone on the two draft days except for you are looking for different area codes from 902 and 782.
Yeah, no, like had to have my phone beside me that whole day. I don't know. That's probably the most screen time I've had.
Be a constant check. Uh,
Yeah.
Speaking of all those checks, so you get to check your game. You're on the plane to Boston, and you're off to development camp. You're off to rookie camp, and you have a chance there. You're on the ice immediately. What is that compete level like, and what's that skill like on a rink with NHL logos on your chest?
Uh, like you're just baffled, right? Like you're there, and all these guys. Like the first day we didn't skate. We just did testing and kind of got to know everybody. And then second day it was right to business. The thing is, like at development camp, it's harder. Like there's a lot of media around, and like you're more like distracted. Well, probably myself because it was my like I just got drafted. Like a lot of some other guys, like it was their draft year 2, 3, 4 years ago. But for me, I was just like still in shock. Like, hey, I was just in shock, right? But no, like the compete level there is something like completely different. Like you're competing against guys from Sweden, Russia, US, like everywhere, right? So you get to see the mix of everything, and I feel like once again, same as like with the U17s, like everybody's working to the same thing. So like we all have that to bond over. So it's pretty easy to get to know everyone.
You're talking about how you're working on your face-offs and you're working on hitting high to ensure you're breaking strides. What are some of the things that you come out of that developmental camp and that the Bruins talk to you about working on in your game?
Yeah, like they were really happy with my development camp. They said they're just really excited to see what I do this season, and because I was sick last year or like last summer going into the last season, so they were like have a healthy summer, put on some weight. Looking forward to see you at rookie camp, and yeah, that was it. Like they said keep doing what you're doing. Really liked your stuff at development camp.
And in the summer as well, you declare to go to Northeastern. So that's the NCAA route. Was that on the horizon when you were having that conversation with the Boston scout?
Yeah, yeah. So I was talking Northeastern last year a bit during playoffs, a bit during regular season. He asked me where I was going to NCAA if I was thinking of it. I mentioned Northeastern, Hockey East, and yeah.
What was it about Northeastern and Hockey East that kind of drew you to it?
Uh, I just think the program at Northeastern, like the education there, it's obviously something, but the hockey, like watching their clips and watching them win the Bean Pot, like the players they produce every year to the NHL, like I think they're an underrated team for how many players they're producing into the NHL, and they get underlooked a lot.
So the Northeastern's the stop after Shawinigan and the bean potted, well, just the college hockey atmosphere. How excited are you to be able to have a chance to thrive in that?
Yeah, like another shocking moment because you don't see yourself playing college hockey once you go to the Q. Like I made the choice at 16. I'm not going to go to NCAA. I'm going to play in the Q, and then the rule gets changed, and you get 4 more years to develop right before you can go to the NHL. So I think that's exciting, obviously, because it's something new and living in Boston, such a nice city. I'm just really excited.
So now we're into this season and again and moving forward. But I do want to just dip back. Who were some of the hockey role models that you had growing up in Halifax? Who would you look up to?
Um, I'd say McKinnon is obviously a big one for me because played in the NHL and he's such a good player there. So McKinnon and Crosby, those two are obviously the big ones.
Have you had a chance to get on the ice with those guys yet? Are you in on that summer skate here in Nova Scotia?
No, no, not yet.
No? All
Um,
right. Keep your fingers crossed and hopefully there's that invite's going to happen. Training here in the province, who do you train with and what's the regiment like for you?
I'm training with Pat Busby, and yeah, I'm training with Pat Busby all summer long. Jill Plandowski skating. I keep my skates short. Like I'm skating only with Jill and Daryl, her husband. He works with Utah and head scout there. So those guys, they've been amazing to me always, my whole life. Um, yeah, those two are the big ones. But Pat for sure, 5 times a week, and he's great. Like I have such a good training group with Pat, and like Will Shields, he's having a great year this year. So uh, no, I have a great group, so it makes it really fun to go into the gym each day.
How much fun? Yeah, and you talk about the having fun here. The summer hockey scene in Halifax and Nova Scotia seems to be exploding over the last little bit. I know there's a couple 3-on-3 league, a couple 4-on-4 leagues. How much do you get out to compete at that level?
Yeah, I do a 4-on-4 league every summer. It's with the Fusion guys, so it's every Q guy really around the league is playing in that from the Maritimes. Even like Braden McPhee, a local face in Halifax, like everybody knows him. He comes down from New Brunswick just to play on. He was on my team. I was fortunate, but no, like it's an exciting. Like we take it to heart that league.
Who's chirping the most in that league?
Uh, Probably like Danny Walters,
Da-
Halifax guy.
Danny, friend of
Yeah,
the show, last week's guest. He's the guy he's running his most the most in the 4-on-4 league. Eh?
yeah, yeah. No, it's all friends and jokes. So like him, whenever we played them, like Bray Mac and him, they'd go at it a lot, like just as jokes. But no, it's super fun.
Oh, that's good. And again, and you talk about the importance of keeping it fun and the importance of having chemistry in the room because that chemistry makes or breaks teams. You you've done some puzzles. What are some of the things that this Shawinigan team does on the road to make sure it stays fun?
Yeah, we were in Gatineau the other day. It's only a 4 hour drive from here, so normally we travel up on just a day of. Say we play there on Saturday, we'll go up on Saturday morning. But we played there Friday, the other last week or 3 weeks ago, and we went up on a Thursday. And we watched the Senators game on the Thursday night, and then stayed at the hotel and went there Friday morning. So that like obviously going to an NHL game with all the guys, like it's a team experience, but it's also like you're watching guys the best, right? Like you're watching the best guys do it. So no, that was fun this year. We haven't been on the road honestly too much in this first half. We've been home a lot. Really, Newfoundland was our first big trip.
I what as a guy that's drafted in the NHL and going to watch the league, what's running through your mind when you're watching those guys play, knowing that you're in this conversation?
Honestly, I don't go there personally. Like, I'm a big fan of the game. Like, I was just watching the game and I was just happy to be there. Like, we were making jokes with my team and picking a guy to score and who's gonna score the first goal. Like, we were just talking about that the whole game. Like, I don't think there was a moment in the game where I thought like, hey, like I'm in the mix with these guys. Like, I don't think it was like that.
Who'd you like growing up?
McKinnon.
No, the team. I mean, team. Did you have a team?
Oh, who's my team?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really have a team, honestly. Like, I was a big just players guy. Like, my favorite player always growing up was Braden Holtby.
Okay.
Obviously, I couldn't look up to him because he was a goalie, but he was my favorite player always growing up.
What was it that drew you to Hope?
His flat, like just how flashy he was. Like, he was so good.
So now again, you talked about how you looked up to McKinnon. Who do you want to model your game after?
Yeah, like that's been like in my head a lot lately. Um, like I just got moved. Like, I'm working right now on being better in front of the net. Like, I'm on the power play. I'm normally on the left flank, but like my coach and I, we talked about it. Like, we want to add some more tools into my toolbox. So I'm playing net front right now. I really like it. Like, I'm doing a great job in front, but like I'm trying to find a guy who I can, role model my game after, like you said. But I haven't really found like a big one yet. But
Okay. One of the things I'm taking out of this here is you're getting a lot of chances and a lot of opportunities to kind of collaborate with the coaching staff, and there's not a lot of guys that get that. How how much are you relishing that opportunity that this team has that much confidence in you?
yeah, like I've worked with Dan and Pascal and Eric Bouchard. Like, mostly my meetings are with Dan, the head coach, but um, me and him have built a bond since I was 16. And obviously, I was injured, and I was still having meetings with him when I was injured, right? Like, of talking about certain stuff like mental, and he's been great to me. Nothing but grateful for what he's done for me, and yeah, like showing up to the rink, it makes it way better when you have a guy like that in your corner, right?
100%. And again, to get to the confidence, how like you've to go through an injury, to be sick, to be working on your game constantly in a spot that's so far away from home. How big was gaining the confidence back, and when was the moment where you felt like, yeah, no, I'm back. I'm the Cole Chandler that I know I can be.
Yeah, confidence is a huge thing. Like you said, like it's big, and I feel like it goes way more than people think. Like, an athlete's confidence, that shows, right? Like, you could have so much skill and you have no confidence. Like, you've seen it with NHL guys. Like, some guys just don't strive, and then all of a sudden they have a year where they're like, wow, like, this is a guy, right? But no, for me, I think it was playoffs where I realized, like, hey, like, I'm back. Like, I can play my game. I can have an impact on the game. And last year I was really fortunate. Like, my coach, he told me, we have to, I don't want to put pressure on you. So, like, in the playoffs, before the playoffs, like, he's like, this is like your time to strive. Like, this is what we've been working towards. Like, we need you. And he said, I don't want to have pressure on you. Like, just go out and do your thing. I'm not expecting you to score any goals. I don't care about points, nothing. Like, no pressure whatsoever. And I feel like that was just like a deep breath. Like, wow, like, I can just play myself and be myself.
Well, be yourself because that's the best you can be, Cole. I appreciate you taking some time. Best of luck the rest of the way in Shawinigan, and February 12th. You make the trip back home. I know we're in the rink the next night, but we'll have the camera out and we'll make sure we catch a bit of Cole Chandler to be on Eastlink the next night. Uh, Best of luck, my friend, and we'll see you at the rink.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, old boy's going to talk to you for a minute. So we're going to talk a little bit about Eastlink, as you know, and I just want to talk about how when you subscribe and get your TV service through Eastlink, even at the basic spot, you get your TiVo Stream app, which gets you access to Sportsnet and TSN. Okay? So you have access to your Sportsnet channels and you have access to your TSN channels because the Prime Sports channels are included in that basic package. Okay? Now, I want you to, I'm not going to say price points or stuff like that because I know some people are subscribing to a TSN, some people are subscribing to a Sportsnet. Some people subscribe to both because they can't miss. I'm just saying. Okay, now again, hear me out. I know some of you are like, I don't know about having that TV. If you get this service, you're gonna have access to Sportsnet and TSN through this app that you have with us. Okay, I'm telling you. I know they advertise their own subscriptions, but you can have it under one bundle, and everybody's getting that little fatigue of saying I subscribe here, I subscribe there, I subscribe everywhere. You put it all into one, a nice little package, a bundle, if you will. Just give us a call 1-888-345-1111. Visit eastlink.ca or go into the store and find out how to get it all back under one payment. One payment. That's hey, I'm just saying whatever works for you, I'm giving you the option. Okay? I'm giving you the option, and I'm giving you the option to go explore with Eastlink, a proudly Atlantic Canadian company. Thanks again to Cole Chandler and Dave Kernan for joining us this week. And again, Cole Chandler talking about the importance of the sports psychology, the mental game, and it's having the confidence in yourself to go and be you is such an important lesson, not just in hockey, but in all aspects of life. And sometimes you need a mental reset. My mental reset. If you ever see me hitting my wrist like that, that's me trying to get myself back on focus, back on track, and into the next 5 minutes. So I do it occasionally. Usually when I'm calling games, I'm pretty focused, but sometimes got to give a little tap. Also, thanks again to Dave Kernu, having a great chat about the comings and goings of the league the last 2 weeks. It's going to be a big challenges with Chicoutimi and Drummondville in town. They're playing extremely well, both 9-1 and 8-1 in their last 10. So we'll see how our Maritime teams fare up against that competition. And again, we don't have to wait until the third round for that crossover this year because it happened in the second round. So it'll be interesting to see where the seeding is for the playoffs in the second round this season with the Q. And also talking about the World U17 Challenge again, I reiterate it was a tremendous event and a lot of great hockey minds around there. I had a chance to kind of chat and meet Craig Button, which was really cool. And watching him set up a broadcast was really neat. But what sticks out for me was Craig talking about the importance of that tournament, and it's an opportunity for all the scouts and all the hockey minds to really see this draft class together at the same time, at the same level, and then watch the progression of these kids after they go from the U17 challenge to the U18 challenge, and then seeing where they progress from there to the Ivan Holenka, and then seeing how they do in their junior and draft year, and then finally World Juniors and to the NHL draft and seeing just watching their trajectory grow. So that's always that was a really it was intriguing to see kind of how they look at these events and watching the progression of these kids. So that was a really neat thing. But again, it was really cool to just kind of just be a fly in the room with them and hearing some of the stories from Craig and all the hockey minds around the rooms and around the scouting rooms. It's always it's always eye opening and it's always a fun experience to learn even more about the great game. For again, Craig, I had no idea that many years ago that the in the WHL the teams had to wait to warm up on the ice separately. I had no idea, no clue, and that's because it became a very interesting situation in warm ups sometimes. So again, some stuff that gets passed along, and now I pass it along to you, so you know. But it was a great event in Truro. Congrats again to all the kids that competed there, and we'll keep watching your stock in the drafts rise, and keep cheering for you all along the way. Best of luck to our teams this week, and we'll see you around the rink. Thanks again for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe, and follow us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, um, Instagram, all that stuff. All that stuff is very important. Also, it's very important to say that this presentation of the Around the Maritimes podcast presented by Carlsberg, and they do have a non-alcoholic beer, so maybe I will have to. I will have to give it a shot. I will. I will. Is it going to replace the club soda lime? Who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Find out in an upcoming episode of Around the Maritimes, the official English language podcast of the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League.